Thank you. I share the concerns of many of my colleagues who've heard from our constituents about a variety of problems that have followed from the transition to pandemic-safe remote work by Social Security. I appreciate the effort that you all have gone through to keep your employees safe, but it has had these effects, and the quicker they can be resolved, the better. Two questions. One is, where are we on finding other ways to have access to people's personal documentation, like passports, for identity verification? Because people get spooked when they have to put their passport physically in the mail. Have we solved that?
So Senator, I'm sorry, I had to get off mute. Senator, what we are doing during the pandemic is allowing for individuals to use secondary evidence to verify their identity. The fact of the matter is there are certain types of transactions, Social Security number transactions, that require us to look at primary forms of identity proofs and to meet with individuals in person. That is a regulatory requirement. But
and you can't adapt that for Zoom? I mean, we're adapting everything for Zoom. This hearing is being done for Zoom. If you've got somebody in front of you and they can show you, wave their passport at you, it seems to me that there are ways to make that work.
There are, for certain types of Social Security cards, we're able to successfully use video to verify someone's identity that way, but those are really no change replacement cards. But for original cards and other types of Social Security cards, the law does require us to verify primary forms of identity proofs, and also to interview the person in person. So, but as I mentioned,
legislatively, or is the clock going to run out as you come back to work, so that this is a problem whose horizon is close enough that we don't need to take action?
So we're currently looking at that very issue internally, Senator, and I hope that we'll have an opportunity to revisit the legal requirements for what we need to do to process a Social Security card. But for purposes of the pandemic, we have tried to alleviate the burden on the public by allowing for secondary forms of evidence or identity proofs that don't require someone giving up their passport or their driver's license. So in appropriate circumstances, individuals can use certified medical records or other forms of proof to verify their identity.
Well, I would encourage you to try to get an answer to us within the window that the chairman is going to provide for questions for the record as to what you're going to need, because we don't want to be in a situation in which, because we're not getting a timely answer from Social Security, we end up not taking action that we could probably do with a huge bipartisan, instantaneous, almost unanimous consent on the Senate floor. And then we find out that, in fact, this is a problem that's going to endure for several months and continue to bedevil our constituents. So I think if Ranking Member Crapo and Chairman Wyden could get a clear signal from you within the QFR time about what's needed, we can then respond appropriately and not have people caught in this quagmire of indecision. Separate question for Ms. McGinnis. Just over half of Social Security disability applications have been submitted online in 2020. Is there a way, what do you recommend? Is there anything we should do to be able to make electronic submission of Social Security disability applications more prevalent?
I think it's really important to try to understand the beneficiary's needs. There may be some beneficiaries for whom you will never move them online. There may be some beneficiaries for whom, if the process was more straightforward, it would be easier to move online. And I think a close look at the trends in the pandemic would be the first step in trying to up the numbers of folks. Second is, we found in other benefit delivery experiments that complex online processes can be beat by paper. So you may be driving people to in-person assistance because of the complexity of some online systems. So I think a closer look, really testing with the folks you're serving, understanding what the ceiling is of people who will be able to move online. I suspect with Social Security, there will be populations, as we've heard, that really do need to go into the office. But trying to maximize the efficiency of folks who don't is going to be the first step.
Well, you could, I think, help us if you could make a recommendation, again, in the QFR window of this hearing, treat it as a question for the record from me, if you must, and see if you could make a recommendation that is simple and clear and obvious enough that it would be amenable to unanimous consent by the Senate to work our way through this problem. I know there are going to be some complexities and some difficulties, but to the extent you can follow the KISS, keep it simple, you know what, rule and give us a recommendation, I think we'd be in a position to act on it. Thank you all very much.